The signal pulsed on the main screen of the Starship Horizon *, a rhythmic pattern that had captured the attention of every crew member on the bridge. Captain Jun Park leaned forward in his command chair, dark eyes fixed on the dancing wavelengths. "It's been consistent for 3 days now," said Lieutenant Hyun Kim, her fingers moving across her console with practiced precision. "Definitely artificial. No natural phenomenon creates patterns this regular." Jun nodded, stroking his chin. The Horizon had been mapping this sector for months without finding anything more interesting than unusual mineral deposits. Until now. "Distance to source?" he asked. "Just under 2 light days, sir. We could reach it within a week at standard speed." The captain glanced at his navigator. Plot a course. Let's see who's sending messages out here in the empty quarters." Officer Daly nodded, his young face illuminated by the soft blue glow of his station. "Course plotted, Captain. Engaging in 3, 2, 1. The great engines of the Horizon hummed as the ship altered direction, heading toward the mysterious signal. 5 days later, they entered orbit around a blue-green world with 2 small moons. It looked startlingly like Earth, with vast oceans and green continents under swirling white clouds. "Life signs?" Jun asked, barely containing his excitement. Hyun worked her scanner, then looked up with wide eyes. "Millions, sir." And they read as human. A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Humanity had sent out colony ships centuries ago, but none had been directed to this sector. "There must be some mistake," said Security Chief Suk-han. "Our scanners might be misreading alien biology." "Maybe," Jun said, "but there's only one way to find out." He turned to face his officers. "Prepare a landing party. We make contact." The shuttle descended through the atmosphere, breaking through clouds to reveal a landscape of rolling hills and forests. In the distance, structures rose from a valley floor, a settlement of considerable size. "I'm picking up power signatures," Day reported from the pilot's seat. "Similar to our fusion technology, but with some differences." Suk checked her sidearm, though it remained holstered. "Remember protocol, everyone. First contact procedures, no threatening moves." The shuttle landed in a clearing 5 kilometers from the settlement. The air when they stepped out was sweet and clean, the gravity slightly stronger than Earth's. Birds, or something like them, called from nearby trees. "Spread out, standard formation," ordered Suk as the 6-person team moved forward. "Stay alert." They had walked for less than an hour when Suk raised her hand, signaling a halt. "Movement ahead," she whispered, pointing to a line of trees. From the shadows emerged 5 figures. They walked on 2 legs and had 2 arms. They had human faces with human eyes that studied the visitors with clear intelligence. They wore fitted clothing with unfamiliar designs and carried tools, not weapons. "Impossible," breathed Hyun, checking her scanner again. "They're human, exactly human." The leader of the group was a tall man with broad shoulders and weather-lined skin. He stepped forward, observing them carefully. "I am Director Ta Jin of Terran Colony Epsilon," he said in clear but oddly accented English. "Welcome, travelers from Earth. We have waited many generations for this day." Jun stepped forward. "I am Captain Jun Park of the Earth exploration vessel Horizon *. How did you know we're from Earth?" Ta smiled. "Your ship design, your uniforms. Where else would you be from?" He gestured around. "And we have always known Earth would find us eventually. It was only a matter of time." "But how are you here?" asked Hyun. "This system isn't in any colonization records." "Come," said Tai, gesturing toward the settlement. "That is a long story best told over food and drink. You are our guests." The landing party followed Ta's group through the forest. As they walked, Jun noticed subtle differences in their guides. They moved with unusual strength and balance, likely adapted to the higher gravity. The settlement was impressive. Dome-shaped buildings connected by covered walkways, gardens growing in terrace plots, and people, human people, going about their daily work. They stopped to stare at the visitors, their expressions ranging from wonder to suspicion. In the central dome, Todd led them to a circular room with a table already prepared with food and drinks. "Please, sit," he said. "You must have many questions." When they were settled, Todd began his explanation. "Our ancestors came from Earth aboard the colony ship Pathfinder *. According to your history, it was lost with all hands in 2187 after passing through the Cygnus Rift." June exchanged looks with his officers. The Pathfinder * expedition. That was over 300 years ago. "Yes," Ta nodded. "The ship was damaged by gravitic distortions in the rift. The navigation systems failed. They drifted for years before finding this world. They named it Epsilon, the 5th planet they had surveyed that could support human life. And they had no way to contact Earth," Hyun realized. "No, the communication arrays were destroyed. The engines could not generate enough power for the return journey. They had no choice but to settle here." Ta's eyes showed a hint of hardness. "They built a new home, adapted to this world, and survived without help from Earth." Jun sensed the underlying tension. "Your people have done remarkably well. This settlement, your whole civilization, is impressive." "Necessity teaches hard but effective lessons," replied Ta. "We had to adapt or die." As they talked, more colonists gathered outside, trying to glimpse the visitors. Children pointed at their uniforms and equipment with wonder. "Our records show all hands lost," said Suk. "How many survived to establish the colony?" 123, Tai answered. "Every child born here knows their names. They are our founding ancestors." An older woman approached the table, studying the Earth humans with intense curiosity. "They look so soft," she said to Tai in the same accented English, "like they've never known real hardship." Ta gave a small nod. "Earth has had different challenges, mother-son, and different advantages." June felt the undercurrent of resentment. These people felt abandoned, forced to forge their own path, while Earth continued its comfortable development. "We had no idea anyone survived," he said softly. "If we had known, would it have mattered?" asked mother-son. "The rift was impassable then." "But not now," said Da. "Our engines can compensate for the gravitic distortions. That's how we came to be here." Ta leaned forward. "So Earth can now travel where it pleases among the stars. How many colonies have you established?" 12 major settlements on fully terraformed worlds," answered June, "and mining operations on various others." "And have you encountered others like us? Lost humans?" Ta's question carried weight. "Never," said June truthfully. "You are the first." Tai and mother-son exchanged significant looks. Something in their expression made Suk tense slightly. "Then there is much we need to discuss, Captain Park," Ta said finally. "About Earth, about Epsilon, and about what lies between the stars." Back aboard the Horizon *, Captain Jun Park called his senior officers to the ship's conference room. The holographic display at the center of the table showed images of the colony they had discovered. "The historical records confirm it," Lieutenant Hyun Kim said, displaying ancient files on her tablet. "The Pathfinder * expedition launched in 2187 with 500 colonists. They were heading for the Procyon system, but had to pass through the Cygnus Rift. All contact was lost 3 months into their journey." Communications Officer Mai Sung leaned forward. "Earth assumed the gravitational anomalies in the rift had destroyed the ship. There was no search mission." "There was," Hyun replied. "But the search vessels couldn't fully enter the rift with the technology of that time. After 6 months, the mission was abandoned." June studied the old photographs of the Pathfinder * crew. "And now we know what happened. They survived, drifted off course, and found this world instead." Security Chief Suk Han frowned. "Did you notice how they watched us? There's tension there. Resentment. Wouldn't you feel the same?" asked Engineer Sun Kang. "Their ancestors were given up for dead. They survived against impossible odds while Earth just moved on. June nodded slowly. We need to trade carefully. We represent the world that abandoned them, at least in their eyes. The next morning, the Earth team returned to the colony. Director Ta Jin had arranged a tour of their settlement, which they called New Haven. Our founders originally built temporary shelters, Tai explained as they walked through the streets. But as years passed and rescue never came, they began constructing permanent buildings. The colony was impressive. The domes were made from local stone and a glass-like material they had developed. Gardens grew everywhere, utilizing vertical space efficiently. People worked with purpose, many stopping to stare at the visitors. Your power systems are remarkable, said Sun, examining a junction box with fascination. You've developed solutions we never considered. When resources are limited, waste becomes unforgivable, replied a colony engineer named Eun Jin. Every system here recycles energy multiple times before release. In the agricultural dome, rows of plants grew in careful arrangements. Some were recognizable Earth species, others clearly adapted to the local environment. These are wheat descendants, said the agriculture chief, a sturdy woman named Lena. 10 generations of selective breeding to thrive in our soil and light conditions. You've accomplished in 3 centuries what might have taken thousands of years of natural adaptation, Hyun observed, genuinely impressed. Lena nodded. Necessity speeds evolution, both of plants and people. That comment hung in the air. June had noticed that the colonists moved differently, stronger, more efficient in their movements. Their bodies had adapted to the higher gravity of Epsilon. In the community hall, children were learning colony history. The teacher paused the lesson as the Earth humans entered, and 30 young faces turned to stare in fascination. These are our visitors from Earth, the teacher explained. The home of our ancestors. A small boy raised his hand. Why did Earth leave us here? The question stabbed at June's heart. Before he could respond, the teacher answered. Earth didn't know our founders survived. Min. Remember your history. The Great Silence was not a choice, but a consequence of the damaged ship. The children nodded, but June could see the question remained in their eyes. Why had Earth taken so long to find them? At midday, they gathered in the council chamber. The colony's leadership sat across from the Earth team, the atmosphere formal and measured. You've built something remarkable here, Jun said sincerely. Earth will be amazed to learn of your survival and achievements. And what does Earth want with us now? Asked an older council member. After 3 centuries, why should we care about Earth's recognition? Tai raised a hand. Counselor Min, our guests are not responsible for the past, but they do represent our future possibilities. He turned to June. You must understand our position, Captain. We have developed independently. Our society, our technology, even our bodies have adapted to Epsilon. We are human, but perhaps not the same humans you know. We respect your autonomy, June assured him. Earth has no interest in controlling established colonies. We seek exchange, not authority. The tension in the room eased slightly, but Jun sensed there was more beneath the surface. Later, as Hyun calibrated her scientific equipment near the colony's central plaza, her scanner picked up an unusual reading. Captain, she called over the communicator. I'm detecting an energy signature unlike anything in the colony's power grid. It's coming from deep underground. June frowned. Natural or artificial? Definitely artificial, but not matching any technology I've seen here or from Earth. When June mentioned the reading to Ta, the director's expression changed. You're very observant, Ta said after a pause. Yes, there is something beneath our colony. It was here when our founders arrived. He led June and Hyun to a building they hadn't visited before. Inside, a lift took them deep underground. The walls of the tunnel changed from constructed to excavated, and finally to what looked like melted stone. Our founders discovered this chamber while digging foundations, Tai explained as they descended. They had no idea who built it or why. The lift opened into a vast circular room. In the center stood a structure of unknown metal, covered in symbols no human had designed. Portions glowed with internal light, casting eerie shadows. "What is it?" June asked, his voice hushed in the presence of clearly alien technology. "We don't know," Tai admitted. "We've studied it for generations. It seems to be dormant, but occasionally it activates briefly, sending signals toward distant stars." Hyun scanned the structure, her eyes wide. "The energy patterns are like nothing in our database. This technology is far beyond Earth's understanding." "We've kept its existence private," Ta said. "Only colony leadership knows of it. We feared if Earth learned of it. You thought we'd come to take it," June finished. "That we'd value the technology more than your people." Ta nodded slowly. "History teaches caution. But perhaps it's time for new lessons." As they studied the alien structure, an alarm suddenly blared through the colony's communication system. "Director," a voice called urgently. "Unidentified vessels have entered the system. They're not from Earth." Tay's face drained of color. "How many?" "3 large ships, sir. Their configuration matches the vessels that probed our defenses last year." Tay turned to June, his expression grave. "Captain, it seems Epsilon faces a threat that neither of our peoples anticipated. The question now is whether Earth will stand with its lost children." June met his gaze steadily. "You're not lost anymore. And you're not alone." The alien ships entered the Epsilon system with predatory grace, their angular hulls gleaming like dark metal against the stars. Inside the colony's command center, Director Ta Jin watched their approach on the main screen, his jaw tight with tension. 3 vessels, same configuration as the previous incursion, reported the colony's defense coordinator. "They'll reach orbital position in 6 hours." Captain Jun Park studied the screen, noting the ship's unusual design. "You've encountered these aliens before." "Twice," Tai replied grimly. "The first time, they sent a single scout ship. They observed us for 3 days, then left. We thought they were merely curious explorers. And the second time, they returned with 2 warships. They destroyed our outer monitoring stations and launched landing craft." Tai's voice hardened. "They killed 17 colonists before we drove them back." Suk-Han stepped forward. "What weapons do they use?" "Energy-based weapons we've never seen before. They cut through our basic shields like they weren't there." June activated his communicator. "Officer Mai, alert the Horizon battle stations, and send our sensor data on these vessels." Mei's voice came back tense but steady. "Captain, we're already tracking them. They've deployed a smaller vessel headed directly for the Horizon. They're attacking both targets simultaneously." Suk realized. They know our ship and the colony are connected. Tai turned to face June fully. "Captain, my people know this planet and have fought these attackers before. Your ship has superior weapons technology. If we work together—" "Agreed," Jun said without hesitation. "Officer Sun, bring our portable shield generators and weapon systems. We'll coordinate a joint defense." The next hours passed in urgent preparation. Colony engineers worked alongside the Earth team, integrating their systems. The colonists' knowledge of the terrain proved invaluable as they established defensive positions around New Haven. "The aliens' ground troops focus on capturing, not just killing," explained Haru, the colony's defense chief. "They took 6 colonists alive during the last attack. We never found them." Sun Kang nodded as he calibrated a shield generator. "Their ships have large cargo holds, possible transport capabilities." "But why?" Hyun wondered. "What do they want with humans specifically?" Before anyone could answer, the perimeter alarm sounded. The attack had begun. In orbit, the Horizon engaged the alien vessel targeting it. Acting Captain Da Li coordinated the ship's defenses, using the vessel's superior maneuverability to avoid the aliens' powerful energy weapons. On the surface, 3 landing craft descended toward New Haven. The colony's defense batteries opened fire, damaging one craft, but the other two continued their approach. "They're landing in Sector 4 and 7, reported a colony technician. At least 30 troops deploying from each craft. June and Suk led a team to Sector 4, while Tai took his fighters to Sector 7. The Earth team's advanced weapons gave them an advantage, but the alien attackers moved with unnerving coordination. The aliens stood nearly 2 meters tall, their bodies covered in segmented armor. Their faces remained hidden behind opaque helmets. They carried weapons that fired pulses of blue energy, scorching everything they touched. "Aim for the joints in their armor," Suk called out, noticing a vulnerability. Her precise shot dropped an alien as it charged their position. The colonists fought with remarkable discipline. Years of higher gravity had made them stronger than Earth humans, and they used this advantage in close combat when necessary. Together with the Earth team's tactical support, they pushed back the first wave of attackers. In Sector 7, Taz's group struggled against heavier opposition. June redirected his team to support them, arriving to find the colonists pinned down by alien fire. "We need to flank them," June told Ta. "Your people know the terrain better than we do." Ta nodded. "Through the eastern tunnel. It comes out behind their position." As they executed the maneuver, an alien fighter broke through the colony's lines. It grabbed a wounded colonist named Maru and began dragging him toward their ship. Suk took aim but hesitated, fearing she would hit Maru. A colonial fighter named Jin rushed forward instead, tackling the alien with reckless courage. They tumbled to the ground, struggling fiercely. June and Tai reached them as the alien pinned Jin. The creature's helmet had cracked in the fall, revealing a face of leathery gray skin and multiple yellow eyes. It hissed something in an unknown language. Tai fired his weapon, and the alien collapsed. Jin lay wounded but alive. "Thank you," he gasped to Ta. It was saying something, over and over. "Save your strength," Ta told him. "The medics are coming." "No, listen," Jin insisted. It said, "Human variant confirmed. I'm sure of it." June and Tai exchanged troubled glances. By evening, the attack had been repelled. The aliens retreated to their ships, leaving their dead behind. The colony counted 12 dead and 23 wounded. The Horizon Asterisk had suffered minor damage but remained operational. In the colony's medical center, Jin lay on a treatment bed as doctors tended his wounds. June, Tai, and Hyun gathered around him. "Tell us exactly what you heard," Jun asked. Jin winced as a doctor sealed a cut on his arm. It kept repeating "human variant confirmed" and something about collection protocols. "When I fought back, it seemed surprised by my strength." Hyun frowned. "They're collecting humans. But why? And what did it mean by variant?" Ta wondered. A commotion at the door interrupted them. A colonist rushed in, his face pale with shock. "Director, we found something in the wrecked landing craft." In the colony's research lab, the body of an alien lay on an examination table, its armor removed. Dr. Won Lee, the colony's chief physician, pointed to strange implants embedded in the creature's skull. "These aren't natural," he explained. "They're technological enhancements connected directly to the brain." Hyun scanned the implants. "There's an energy signature here similar to the alien structure beneath the colony." "There's more," said one. "Look at this." He displayed genetic analysis results on a screen. "We've compared their DNA to ours. There are similarities, not enough to call them human, but too many to be coincidental." "What are you suggesting?" June asked, though he feared he already knew. "These creatures might share common ancestry with humans," one said gravely, "or they've been studying human genetics for a very long time." As they digested this disturbing possibility, May's voice came through June's communicator. "Captain, we're receiving transmissions from the alien vessels. They're communicating with someone elsewhere, and sensors show more ships entering the system, at least 7 larger vessels." Ta looked at June, his expression grim. This wasn't just an attack. It was a test. And now they're bringing their real force. Then we need to prepare, Jun said firmly. And we need to understand that alien structure below the colony. It might be our only advantage. Ta nodded. Two peoples, one human family. It seems we'll face extinction or survival together. As it should be, Jun replied, extending his hand. Ta clasped it firmly, sealing their alliance against the approaching threat. The colony entered a state of urgent preparation as scouts reported the alien fleet would arrive within 3 days. Humans from Earth and Epsilon worked side by side, differences set aside in the face of common danger. In the workshop near the colony center, engineer Sun Kang leaned over a workbench, carefully connecting components from Earth technology to colonial power systems. Beside him, colony technician Yun Jin watched with fascination. Your quantum processors are incredible, she said, examining a chip smaller than her fingernail. They perform calculations that would take our best systems days. Sun smiled. But your power grid is far more efficient than anything we've built. It adapts to load changes automatically. He pointed to a connection point. This junction would have overloaded 3 times by now in an Earth system. Necessity, Yun shrugged. When you can't waste energy, you find better ways to use it. They worked in comfortable silence for a moment before Yun spoke again. Why do you think they're hunting us? The aliens. Sun's hands paused. I don't know, but I don't think it's random. They're too focused, too prepared. In another part of the colony, Hyun Kim sat cross-legged in a quiet room with 5 colonists. Their eyes were closed, their breathing synchronized. Now extend your awareness to the second node, instructed Nan, an elderly colony teacher. Feel the connection between mind and body, between thought and action. Hyun followed the guidance, surprised at how quickly her thoughts settled. These meditation techniques had been preserved from Earth's past, refined over centuries by the colonists. They were remarkably similar to the neural integration practices developed recently on Earth. Your methods are almost identical to techniques our scientists created just 20 years ago, Hyun said when the session ended. But you've been practicing these for generations. Nan smiled. Human minds work in similar patterns, even separated by time and space. Perhaps there are only so many ways to achieve harmony between thought and action. Dr. Won Lee watched as Medical Officer Jin Sung from the Horizon demonstrated Earth's portable medical scanner. The device created a 3-dimensional image of a patient's internal systems with incredible detail. This would have saved countless lives during our early years, one said, examining the display showing a colonist's healed fracture. Our medical technology developed differently. We focused on accelerating natural healing rather than detailed diagnostics. Jin nodded. Different paths to the same goal, healing the human body. May I show you something? One asked, leading Jin to another room. Inside was a colonist lying on a bed, his arm wrapped in a strange pulsing material. This is our regeneration matrix. It stimulates cell growth using the body's own patterns. Jin examined it with wonder. Earth has nothing like this. The applications would be revolutionary for treating severe injuries. Perhaps, one said thoughtfully. Each branch of humanity kept different pieces of our potential. In the command center, Captain Jun and Director Tae reviewed defense plans. The mood was serious but not hopeless. Your ship's weapons have better range, Ta said, pointing to orbital positions on the display. If the Horizon can disrupt their formation here, our ground batteries can target any ships that break through. Jun nodded. And if we coordinate the shield frequencies, we can create overlapping protective fields around the colony's vital areas. It might work, Tae admitted. But even with our combined forces, we're outnumbered. We need something more. The alien structure, Jun suggested. Have your scientists made any progress understanding it? Some. Ta pressed a button, changing the display to show the underground chamber. We've determined it's part of a network, not an isolated installation. It was designed to connect to other similar structures across vast distances. A communication network, Jun asked. We think it's more than that. Come with me. They descended again to the ancient chamber beneath the colony. Now Earth and colony scientists worked together around the alien structure, monitors displaying scrolling data. We've managed to partially activate it, explained Hyun, who led the research team. It sent out a signal, but not to the alien fleet. It transmitted in a completely different direction, toward the galactic core. A distress signal, Jun wondered. Maybe, said Hyun, or maybe it's calling for reinforcements of its own. Hyun pointed to a section of the structure where symbols glowed with soft blue light. These markings appear on multiple panels. We believe they represent star systems. Jun studied the symbols. Something about their arrangement seemed familiar, though he couldn't place why. Has anyone tried interfacing directly with the system? He asked. The scientists exchanged uncomfortable glances. We tried neural interface using colony technology, Hyun admitted. The volunteer experienced intense visions, stars, planets, and what she described as pathways between worlds. She saw humans on many worlds, not just Earth and Epsilon. That's impossible, Jun said. Earth only established 12 official colonies. Maybe Earth wasn't the only source of human expansion, suggested Ta. Or maybe what she saw hasn't happened yet. That night, as the colony slept and preparations continued, Jun found himself unable to rest. He walked through the quiet streets, admiring how the colonists had built their home under alien stars. He found Hyun in the research lab, still working despite the late hour. You should rest, he told her. I can't, she replied, her eyes fixed on her data tablet. There's something about these symbols. They remind me of historical records I studied at the academy. Which records? Ancient Earth civilizations, their astronomical observations. Some of these patterns match star charts carved in ruins thousands of years old. She looked up at Jun, her expression troubled. Captain, what if humans have been part of something larger all along? What if our presence on Earth itself was just one branch of a greater human story? Before Jun could respond, an alert sounded on Hyun's tablet. The alien structure was activating on its own. They rushed to the underground chamber, meeting Tai and several colonists already gathered there. The structure pulsed with increasing energy, symbols lighting up in sequence. It's receiving a transmission, Hyun reported, checking her instruments. From somewhere very distant, a section of the structure projected light into the center of the room, forming a three-dimensional star map. Dozens of points glowed across the projection. Those are star systems, Hyun said, recognizing patterns. That one is Earth's solar system. And there's Epsilon. And the others? Tai asked. Unknown colonies, Jun suggested, or potential colony sites. As they watched, several of the lights began blinking red. Alarm symbols appeared beside them. I think, Hyun said slowly, these are warnings. Those systems are under attack. By the same aliens that are hunting us, Ta concluded. But look, Jun pointed to several green points that were steadily pulsing. These systems seem secure, and they're responding to the network. The projection shifted, showing a new symbol, humanoid figures standing together on multiple worlds. It's not just a warning system, Hyun realized. It's a call to unite. I think we've activated something ancient, something meant to bring humans together when threatened. How many human worlds are out there? Ta whispered, staring at the dozens of marked systems. Enough to make a stand, Jun said firmly, if we can reach them. The structure pulsed once more, and a new symbol appeared, a pathway connecting all the green points with Epsilon at the center. This colony, Hyun said with growing excitement, might be the key to uniting all humanity across the stars. Ta looked at Jun, determination in his eyes. Then we need to hold Epsilon at all costs, for all humans, everywhere. Together, Jun agreed, the shared legacy of both their peoples suddenly clear before them. The alien fleet arrived in the Epsilon system at dawn. 7 massive warships and dozens of smaller craft spreading out in attack formation. From the colony's command center, Director Ta Jin and Captain Jun Park watched the tactical display with grim determination. "They're positioning to surround the planet," said Officer Daly, who had returned from the Horizon to help coordinate the defense. "Their weapons are charging." "Status of our defenses?" Jun asked. "Earth colony shield integration at 90%, replied Unjin. "The Horizon is in position behind Epsilon's larger moon, hidden from their scanners for now." Tai checked the status of the ancient network beneath the colony. "The alien structure is fully active. It's sending our signal to other human worlds, but we don't know if help will arrive in time." June nodded. "Then we fight with what we have." The first alien attack came swiftly. Energy beams lanced down from the largest warship, testing the colony's shields. The protective barrier flared blue but held. "Shield holding at 86%, reported Ian. "Their weapons are more powerful than in previous attacks." "They're learning," Ta said grimly. "Adapting to our defenses." The Horizon burst from behind the moon, engines flaring as it accelerated toward the alien fleet. The Earth ship was much smaller than the alien vessels, but moved with superior speed and agility. "The Horizon is engaging," Day reported, pride in his voice, drawing fire from the 3 eastern vessels. June watched as his ship executed a perfect attack run, weapons striking the lead alien vessel. The alien shields flickered but remained intact. "Landing craft detected," called out Sukhan from her security station. "At least 20, approaching from multiple vectors." Tai activated the colony-wide communication system. "All defense teams to positions. This is not a drill. Remember your training." Across New Haven, colonists moved with practiced efficiency. Some took up defensive positions while others guided non-combatants to underground shelters. Earth personnel integrated with colonial fighters, their combined tactics demonstrating the strengths of both human branches. The first wave of alien troops landed at the colony's perimeter. They advanced with mechanical precision, firing blue energy weapons that scorched the ground. But the defenders were ready. Colonial fighters used their superior strength and knowledge of the terrain, while Earth personnel deployed advanced targeting systems that found weaknesses in alien armor. In orbit, the Horizon danced between enemy vessels, its shields taking damage, but its weapons finding their mark. 2 alien ships broke formation to pursue the Earth vessel, leaving gaps in their defensive line. "They're focusing too much on the Horizon Jun observed. "They don't realize it's a diversion." Ta smiled tightly. "Activate the orbital platforms." Hidden defense platforms that the colonists had built over decades suddenly powered up, revealing themselves in key positions around Epsilon. They fired concentrated energy beams at the alien ships from behind, striking their engines. "Direct hits on 2 vessels," Ian reported. "Their power systems are fluctuating." For a moment, it seemed the combined Earth colony forces might gain the upper hand. Then 3 more alien ships appeared at the edge of the system. "Reinforcements," Ta said, his voice tense. "We can't hold against that many." June's communicator activated. "Captain," came Hyun Kim's voice from the underground chamber. "The alien structure is responding to the attack. I think it's trying to activate something, but it needs more power." "What kind of power?" June asked. "The kind your ship's engines generate. If we could channel the Horizon's reactor output through the colony's power grid to the structure." June looked at Ta. "It could destroy my ship if we drain the engines during combat." "And it might do nothing," Ta acknowledged. "But we're running out of options." June made his decision. "Lieutenant Hyun, prepare to receive power from the Horizon *. I'll give the order." On the battlefield, the fighting intensified. Alien troops pushed toward the colony center, their numbers overwhelming the defenders' positions one by one. Security Chief Suk Han led a desperate counterattack, rallying colonists and Earth personnel alike. "Hold the line," she shouted, firing with precision at advancing aliens. "We can't let them reach the central plaza." Beside her, Colonial Fighter Jin fired his modified weapon. "They're after the network chamber. They know what's beneath us." In orbit, Joan contacted the Horizon *. Acting Captain Lee, bring the ship into low orbit above the colony. Prepare to channel reactor power to surface coordinates. "Sir," Day responded, concern in his voice, "that will leave us vulnerable. Shields and weapons will go offline." "I know. Do it anyway." The Horizon * broke away from combat, diving toward Epsilon's atmosphere with alien vessels in pursuit. Its shields flared as it absorbed enemy fire, pushing its engines beyond safety limits. In the network chamber, Hyun and Sun worked frantically to prepare the alien structure for the power influx. "If this works," Hyun said, checking connections, "the network should fully activate." "And if it doesn't?" Sun asked. "Then we've sacrificed the Horizon * for nothing." Above the colony, the Earth ship hovered just inside the atmosphere, heat rippling from its shields as it maintained position. Power conduits extended from its underside, connecting to the colony's grid. "Beginning power transfer," Day reported. "Shields at minimum. Weapons offline." Alien ships circled like predators, their weapons targeting the vulnerable Earth vessel. In the command center, Tai and Jun watched tensely as power readings spiked. The colony's lights dimmed as energy was redirected to the ancient structure. "Power transfer at 60%, reported Yun. "The structure is responding." Deep underground, the alien network pulsed with new energy. Symbols lit up across its surface, and the star map projection expanded, filling the chamber with light. "It's working," Hyun exclaimed. "The network is connecting to other nodes across multiple systems." The projection showed energy pathways forming between star systems, with Epsilon at the center. Points of light traveled along these paths, moving toward their position. Above, the alien fleet closed in for the kill. The Horizon * could no longer defend itself, its power diverted to the network. 3 alien warships moved into firing position. "Brace for impact," Dai warned. "They're targeting our main hull." But before the aliens could fire, space rippled in multiple locations around Epsilon. New vessels appeared, ships of various designs, some clearly built by human hands, others of unknown origin but moving in coordinated patterns with the human vessels. "What's happening?" Tai asked, staring at the tactical display in disbelief. "The network," Jun realized. "It created some kind of faster-than-light pathway. Those are ships from other human colonies." The newcomers engaged the alien fleet immediately, their weapons and tactics surprisingly effective. The aliens, caught off guard by the sudden reinforcement, broke formation. A transmission came through on all frequencies, in clear human language. "Epsilon Colony, this is Admiral Jin Sung of the United Colonies Defense Force. We received your signal through the ancient network. You are not alone." More ships continued to arrive. 15, then 30, then over 50 vessels formed a protective ring around Epsilon. The alien fleet, now outnumbered, began to retreat. In the colony, alien ground forces suddenly pulled back, returning to their landing craft as their orbital support vanished. Suk couldn't believe her eyes. "They're running." On the command center's main screen, Admiral Jin Sung appeared, a woman with features that combined elements of several Earth ethnicities. Behind her stood officers from clearly different human worlds. "Captain Park, Director Jin," she greeted them. "The network has been dormant for generations. When it activated from Epsilon, it connected all human colonies that have discovered network nodes. We've been fighting these hunters separately for decades. Now we can fight together." Todd looked at June, wonder replacing the tension in his face. "We really aren't alone. Humanity has spread further than either of us knew. And now we found each other again," Jun said, All branches of the human family united at last. As the alien fleet disappeared from the system, ships from a dozen different human colonies landed at New Haven. Leaders and representatives emerged to meet their long-lost kin. They carried different traditions, had developed different technologies, and had adapted to different worlds, but they were undeniably human. In the plaza, under the light of Epsilon's sun, humans from Earth stood beside colonists from Epsilon and visitors from stars they had never known held human life. Ancient divisions fell away as they recognized a simple truth. Together, they were stronger than they had ever been apart. The shared legacy of humanity had become its greatest strength, and the stars had never seemed more full of promise.